let us begin. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for, what is it, Christian? Is it the third session?
Yes, that's
Or the third session, third masterclass that we are hosting every Thursday afternoon here in South Africa, but in the middle of the day for those of you who are in the West, and evening for those of you who are in the East. So my name is Gerold, and this is my co-host, Christian. And today we are going to take you through the one of the masterclasses that we are dealing with is kind of like a theme we're running, which is talking about founder dependency. And this is part of an initiative from Circle of Founders. And this is one of the companies that we co-founded together. And we are doing these masterclasses in order to help founders to, number one, grow their businesses, and number two, work less.
Yes.
And that sounds like a very contradicting thing, right? Because normally people are like, well, if I want to make more money, I must work more, right?
Work harder.
Harder or smarter or neither. Don't work. So founder dependency is all about the business depending on you as a founder. So we have this question that we always start with, and we ask that if you were to disappear from your business for 90 days, would your business continue to run? Not just survive, but would your business actually continue to grow? And that's the, because some people think about it like, yeah, it will survive. You know, it's like when I get back, it will be lots of fires, but I'm sure it will be fine. But no, the acid test for founder independency is that, can I step away and the business actually autonomously continues to operate and to grow? And that's when you know that you have independent business, which is also a very valuable business.
Can you sell your business?
Yes, then you can sell your business. Yeah. Otherwise, I heard somebody said that, you know, if your business is dependent on you, like we spoke about it last time, that when you want to sell your business, but there's founder dependency, then often you will, the buy contract will come with a clause that says that you need to continue to work for them for 12 or 36 months or whatever it might be. And that's like, imagine having to work in a business for someone else that you started. That's crazy. I don't think that's nice. And if I sell my business, I want to take the money and go and enjoy it. You know, I don't want, or start another business or something. I don't want to have to continue to work in the business. Or maybe it's a lucrative deal. I don't know. Some people prefer that. So anyway, so let us continue on. So this session is session 3, and we are going to be talking about knowledge dependency today. So all about the stuff that's in our heads as founders. You know, we have so many things going on in our heads. It's actually scary, just ideas and know-hows and tactics and the different things. Like what is knowledge dependency? It's not that you have all the books in your bookshelf in your office and no one else gets access to the books, or that you have the codes, the passwords, you know, to Udemy. But knowledge dependency is actually about critical information that the business needs to operate, that does not live on paper or in a system or in another person. It lives inside of your head as an individual. And so the business really cannot operate at all without your intervention, without your presence, without your input, without your approval, without your people opening, say, oh, can I pick your brain for a moment? Like, how do we do this again? And so this is also one of the things that causes mental stress on founders. And later we're going to get into the consequences of knowledge dependency. But what does this look like in your business? So one good example is that if a new person joins the company, do you need to accompany them in the beginning for them to be able to start to work? Because if you're the one as a founder that have to, come and sit here and I'll show you how to do these things, that's already red flag. knowledge dependency, that's now you're spending time training an employee where your time should be the most valuable time in the company.
And
right?
then if there were like 5, 10 of
Imagine.
them,
Imagine. Actually, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to run away from corporate. It's because they made me the trainer for everybody. Because if you're in the department the longest, you become the one that has to train all the new people. And I was like to my manager, I said like, you guys are not paying me more for this, so why should I do this?
But that's at least it's not the CEO.
Exactly.
The founder of-
Imagine. Imagine the CEO coming. I'd say, don't let me laugh today. I'm recovering from, I don't know what, but maybe some cold or flu or something. Yeah, that's a funny picture because I know the CEO from the corporate where I used to work, and I cannot imagine that. But and yet for us, sometimes we don't think it a strange thing. And in the beginning, obviously, like we've said, founder dependency is not a bad thing always. It's like we use this illustration to say that it's like a child. When you have a child in the beginning, the child needs to be dependent on you. That's natural. That's good because you need to build and sustain and protect the baby. But as the child grows, the child needs to become more independent. More independent, not more dependent on you. It will be very weird if you're like a 30-year-old living with your parents and you just, you're not working, they're taking care of you still. Like, that's not okay. Like, get out, like go live your life. Like, stop being dependent. And sometimes it might be lazy people, or it might be parents who are just overly making you dependent and just trying to do everything for their kids. So as founders, we are guilty of this as well. The business is dependent on us, and in the beginning, as is natural, but then over time, we don't let go, and that's one of the big problems, right? Is that we cannot let go. And knowledge is one of those things that we struggle to let go of. But later, we're going to tell you exactly how to take care of this. So, when it comes to knowledge, there's two ideas or two types of knowledge. There is tacit knowledge, which is knowledge that lives in your head,
inside your brain,
hopefully, and not in your heart.
Sorry.
Wow, that's bad. And then there is what we call explicit knowledge. So explicit knowledge is knowledge that is written down. So this is the knowledge that goes into systems, knowledge that people can access, knowledge that is explicit. People can draw from it. People can use it. But tacit knowledge, nobody can draw from it. Like, I can't go, it's like, oh, thank you. Now I know how to, do this thing that you only know how to do. And it's like, that's not helpful at all. So how do we get that knowledge out? There is something that they call the bus factor, which is an interesting concept. So this bunch of software engineers, they came up with this idea of the bus test or the bus factor test. And it's like, the question is, how many people can get run over by a bus? I don't know what the history is behind this and why a bus and why is buses running over people. But how many people can how many people can get hit by a bus before the project completely stops? And the average, they said like 67% of projects or companies, the bus factor is 2 or below. And that's dangerous.
Oh, very dangerous.
That's very dangerous. If 2 people are sick, like, let's not say the bus factor, let's just say the flu factor. If just 2 people get sick, the project stands for those days that they can't work.
Or the COVID.
Or COVID happens, or there's a giant T-Rex in your yard and you can't get out. It's like 2 people eaten by a T-Rex and the project is done.
We are laughing about it, but it's a very, very serious.
It is very serious, yes.
Yeah. So, like, just continuing the same idea of knowledge dependency, which I think all the entrepreneurs and founders, when you start the business, you start somewhere. you know the work, you know everything, and you are the one who had an idea. And for sure, some of them, they maybe they were working somewhere, they leave the job, and now they want to start the business. And so you start the business with that knowledge, and you get your first client, the second one, but the business start to grow and become a problem. So, but not all the knowledge dependency are the same. They're totally different, and they manifest in different places, different department in the business. Yes. So categories. So there's 7 categories of knowledge dependency. The first one is operation dependency, operation knowledge. Meaning that the business depends on you for all the operation of the business, starting by the systems and how the systems works, technology, customer relationship, daily logistic, and whatever, everything that daily things that you do in the business, even monthly, we can even extend it, like the whole business depend on you. That is a problem. And the second one is the execution knowledge. So how clients, like for example, okay, you acquired a client, now you have to do the work. Now you have to deliver the value to the client. So you are still the one who knows how to do it, and you're still doing it. The methodologies, quality standard, product sequences. So that's the execution knowledge. Number 3, we have strategic knowledge. What decision to make, and then why to make it, and then where the business is going, what the business have to do in the next 3 months, the next 6 months, all things that the business need for the long term, but also even for the short term, it's only you.
Yeah.
That is knowledge dependency. We have client knowledge. You have all the relationship history of the business. It's only you, the founder.
Like this client is a difficult one. You must talk to her like this.
Like
or
this.
That one, they'll answer you after 2 weeks, so you must remind them every day. This one, this is what we've done for them before, and we gave them a discount because of they've been with us for so long. I remember there was this, when I was still working in corporate, there was a time where our medical aid schemes moved from one type of company and they were bought and absorbed into another company. You know what mess that was, because they didn't transfer the client knowledge. So there were so many things like nuances about the relationship, like, oh, this one has a special arrangement, approval for this and this. And it was at the time where my kids were born. And then because of that mess, I ended up getting like a $20,000 hospital bill, which was supposed to be paid by the medical aid. But because they messed up the things, like the approvals and things, they didn't carry them over properly. So you imagine now, you think that everything is paid, and then it's like, oh, hello, you have to pay the. So it was a long fight. Eventually, they did, settle the account and everything. But that relationship, client knowledge is so important, because there's like these every client is unique.
Yeah.
And the way you treat them, the arrangements you have with them, because we know, especially in the consulting world, there is, pricing, and then there is the relationship. And often as the relationship grows, the pricing gets adjusted because there's longer term benefits. So if you don't carry that over, the next guy's like, oh, Mr. So-and-so, by the way, you owe us this. And he's like, well, but why are you charging me so much now? I've been with you guys for so long.
And that's a very, very, very important thing that you see, that even big companies, like big companies, they don't really have that history of client and the specificity, or every client is different. So we have to have them differently. And so that when you are not there, someone else can deal. We also see it with like customer services. You see that
Customer services. I have a headache already.
so that's
That this guy, let me put you through. Then you have to tell the whole story over and over again. So it's similar. It's similar.
Yeah. There's financial knowledge, like pricing models, as you said,
Yeah.
cost structures, margin calculation, like why clients get discount and all these things that comes with that. We can even go with like invoice and things. You are the one who manage it. You know everything. You know where to put things. You know where to get things, and no one knows much about.
And in the beginning, because you're starting out, I mean, every client you're basically pricing them based upon your own judgment, you know,
based on the relationship.
Yeah, and sometimes
your uncle, your cousin.
That's true. And then also, once you start getting real clients, when you start out, you're in a place of, I don't want to call it desperation, but you want the business. So you kind of do because you just want to get the experience. You want to start working with people. So then, you know, it becomes a very like difficult thing to manage. But if you don't create a system for that where it's okay to give discounts, but it has to be systemized so that you're not the only one that can sign off on that, and that you protect the margins. Because if somebody decides, we're going to give this guy 50% discount, maybe he doesn't know because all the pricing things in your head, but you only have a 5% margin on that product. Now you in 45% in loss. So
the business suffer because of that.
Then you have to do the work because you agreed for the client to pay that.
And then we have technical knowledge, the product, the service, specification, design, and like engineering, decision, everything. The founder built it, and only the founder knows how it really works. And that's even can go, it's mostly, I don't know, even not like softwares companies, just normal businesses also, like normal software that we work with inside the business, that can become a problem.
Even like, I think especially like custom tools and things also. Imagine like a mechanic that starts a mechanic shop and he built this wrench thing, you know, like this thing that helps with certain cars that makes it easier. And then it's the guy that now works and has to do the actual repairing of the cars. He doesn't know how this thing works. You know, how the hell can you come out of your office, you know, from dealing with clients and growth and and come and put on your overalls so you can help me with this tool that you made. So technical knowledge it's not just software things, or it can also just be like how to use stuff or how things work. It's basically anything that can be technical. Even this masterclass is technical.
Technical.
Very technical.
And then we have a cultural knowledge, how we do things here, how we behave here, how we talk, how we laugh, how we smile, how we drink water.
Yeah. Those
things are very important. And if it's only you who knows about those things, it's become a problem. If those things are, you didn't write them down, the practical value, like you have to know all these norms, and then one thing with cultural knowledge is that it's the most tacit knowledge, because most of the time when you are a founder, you are starting a business, you set those value. You know when you are doing your business development things, what is the value? Our value must smile all the time. Our value, we must say hello. All these things, you are the one who set them, and you know them by your heart, because from the beginning you know, like you live by them, but become a problem because only you
Yeah.
knows about that, and no one else can follow up. Even your managers, they can't. You, and you're the one who have to
Yeah. That's not how we do things, guys. And then it's like, okay,
become a
how are
problem.
we supposed to know how we do things if you don't communicate?
So
Talking about
you want to
talking
say?
about dependency, I got to share the slideshow with the audience. So, but at least we only got into the technicalities now. So there you go. There's the slideshow.
That's a cultural
I
knowledge
was
and
going to say technical knowledge. It's in someone else's head, not in mine. So maybe it's the medication. So I'm forgetting things today.
Yeah.
It's anyway, you can continue.
No, like, so just each category creates a different failure mode.
Yeah.
Like, all this knowledge you create and like bottleneck in the business, the quality gap, fragile client relationship, cultural, the culture is like, it's only you. So those things we are breaking them in 7 categories, but most of the time they work together, and together they're the one who makes the business to fall. And then you might find that maybe you are burnout.
Yeah.
And then that burnout, it can be the mix of maybe 3, 4 of them, or even just one can take you down,
Exactly.
like kill you. So
Yeah.
and then keep.
I think there's some
Keep the
obvious
business.
ones, and then there's some not so obvious ones. Like
Mm.
the culture one is not so obvious because company culture expands, or I think it becomes more intense with growth.
Mm.
You know, you really start to feel, because culture is something you feel in the company. Like, what does it feel like to be there? And that's something that you only really notice when the team starts growing and growing, and then then you as a founder can start to come to the office and you're like, I don't feel like going to the office anymore. And it's like, what's wrong? No. But that's the culture. Then you start to notice the culture. So it's some of them are obvious. Like if you take technical knowledge, that's very obvious. Like people keep coming to you. How do you do this? Help me with this. How do I open this thing? What should I do here? What did you do with this thing? So those things some of them are more.
And then we were mentioning all these things. Even the purpose of this master classes is that we as founders, we can sit and try to identify those type of things in our business every day. Even ourselves, when we as we are speaking right now, as we are sharing this with you, we can see ourselves. Okay, we still have a problem here. We have to change here. This one things, because even the way it feels, even the way it presents, it can be the same thing, but it's presented in different ways. So it's just to have that knowledge and to understand, so that you can see to say, okay, this is a problem and I have to change it. I have to, I have to change. You have to change so that things can change.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So then we have the psychology of why does knowledge dependency even exist in the first place? And that's a deep question, because the truth of the reality of knowledge dependency is that it's not an issue of time.
Yeah.
Because most founders, we as founders, we blame time. I don't have the time to write the SOP. That's not true. Because if you wrote the SOP, it would save you time.
Yes.
So studies have shown, and we'll go through these, I think it's 5 of them, like psychological blocks, I can say, that we have. But studies have shown that really the main cause of knowledge dependency is psychological.
Yeah.
It's really in our, which is funny because it's knowledge, it's in our head, and the problem why we don't share it is also in our head. So let's just go quickly through these 5 ones. So the first one is the curse of knowledge. So this is they did an experiment in, what is this, 1989, where there's a story about this the tap, they call it the tap experiment, where they would tell, like, let's say two of us, they would play a song to us, and then we would hear the song, and then they say, okay, now tap the song on the table, and then the audience have to guess what song it is. So before they started, they asked the people, like, what is the percentage ratio that you think people will get right? And they were like, no, like 50-60% surely, you know, we good tappers, I guess. And the scary result is that only something like 3% of the time that the people guess the right song. And so this is where they talk about the curse of knowledge, because when you know something, it is impossible for you to not know it, and also not know what it feels like not to know.
Yeah.
So if I hear a song, like I play a song and I say, happy birthday, you know. But if I didn't say I'm playing happy birthday, like you might have not guessed it. But because you have the knowledge, because I have the knowledge of what the song is, I can't, it's like when you can't guess it, I'm like, how can you not know? Like, it's so easy, man. Like, that's the curse of knowledge. Like, when you have the knowledge, it's extremely difficult for you to think what it feels like on the other side where somebody doesn't know. And so what happens is that founders, we start to assume that people should know or that they know. And because we have not documented everything, and then we even get upset at people because they don't know something that we see as obvious, but we already heard the song, you know, we already did what they need to still do. We already learned what they are still learning. And so for us, it's like the conclusion is obvious. Like, of course you need to give that client a discount. Why are you even asking me? That's important. You should have just done it. But that's because you have the experience of knowing when to give the discount. If there's no, which is some of the steps we're going to come to later, but if there's no systemized SOP, then, you know, we can't assume that people know. And so when it comes to resolving knowledge dependency, you have to assume that nobody knows and take it from that place. So this is also why when you are writing SOPs, you should not do your own SOPs.
Someone else
have to do it. So you can write out, like record yourself, or let the person sit there and you explain to them what you do. But like the actual, like the observation of the process, but the documentation of the process has to be another person, or you can even use AI. But if you do it, you're going to skip over some steps because of the curse of knowledge.
It's obvious.
Yeah, because to you, it's like, oh, yeah, then you do, of course you do and it's, so there's going to be all these gaps in the SOP in the person. And you're like, okay, and then you open the lid and that's it. So you're done with the final assembly of the tank. And it's like, what the hell happened from opening the lid to driving the tank? I didn't get in. To the founder, it's obvious because they've done it a million times, but to somebody who doesn't know, there's just a blank.
And that's gonna even happen with, like, yes, inside the business, but also, like, for example, with clients. Because sometimes we assume that the clients, they must see that what we're doing is good. Like, look this. Can't you see that this product, this business, or this website is very beautiful?
Yeah.
So people like Jeff Bezos, they will enter the whole leadership team. They will sit, but they will leave one chair that is open, and they say that that's where the client is going to sit. So we have to figure out what the client think, because that comes with that curse of knowledge. We know what is good for this business. We know what is, or I know, me, the founder, I know how this business can help you, my client. But you don't know what the client really wants or knows, or how long, or where you should, even how to communicate with the client.
Yeah, what they
like
know,
all those
what they
things.
don't know.
Yeah.
So secondly is identity fusion. And I think this is that, you know, the ego part of it is that founders often fuse their own identity with knowledge. So it's like if I'm not needed, then that's the fifth one, the fear of losing power. But if I'm not the one who holds this knowledge, then I kind of lose my identity, because what makes me special? And a lot of people, they find this ego boost in the idea that, or identity boost of like, oh, I'm the one who knows how to. And I used to work with people like that they will help you, but they will never tell you how to do it. It's like, oh, can you quickly come show me how you did that thing that made it so much easier for you? It's fine, let me just quickly help you. And then they'll do it, but they won't tell you how they did it.
Have to come back.
They want you to come back to them. And so a lot of us as founders, if we're honest, we enjoy it when people come to us, because it feels good to be needed. And then there's that question that we asked in a previous masterclass, is that at the end of the day, when you have completely made your business independent, what is your purpose now? Because if your purpose is found in that the business needs you, then you're going to struggle psychologically when your business no longer needs you. And so some founders will even create things where the business needs them, because they want to feel that ego of, I'm needed. Like I have something that no one else has.
And then the only way that the only time that they will really say that they will believe things to other people is when they burn out. Because first you want to do things, you want to push with things, because that is attached to what you think is your value, and then what you think people have to think of you. Because if I'm the one who have all the knowledge, who can manipulate this computer, who can do everything, can run this business, so I'm the superpower, I'm the hero of this business.
The hero
so you
syndrome.
see, that's like I'm smart, you see. Very smart.
And then there's the third psychological trap, which is, it's faster if I do it myself, which might be true at some point, but it only remains to be true because you have not done anything about it. And I do believe that if it remains faster for me to do it, then that's my fault.
Yes.
Because I am not dumping the knowledge and creating the system and training the person to do it faster than me. And that's what we want as founders. That's what we want our employees to. Is it employees? No, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. I get confused between employees and employer.
I also.
I can't remember if I'm the employer or the employee. Sometimes I'm both. You want your employees to outgrow you, right? In their field of expertise and in their work. I want my people to become much better than, like, I want them to teach me, like to do stuff where I go like, like how did you do this? Wow, this is amazing. Because as a founder, you have so much experience because you had to do everything at some stage. So if you continue to be the best, there's a problem there, right? So that has to be worked on, and it's like it takes time. And every time that there's a new thing that you do, like, it's good, master it, but then teach it. Alex always says that you have to become. It uses sales as an example. It says you have to go from the god of sales to the god of sales training. That's like going from the salesperson to the one who creates a godlike salespeople. So that, and then after that, now you create the system and the whole thing that trains people, so that you are now the owner of that entire system, no longer even training the people. So it's faster if I do it myself. Sure, it is, but it shouldn't be faster for a long time. And that's our responsibility as founders, to ensure that somebody else can do the work better than I can do the work. Then the fourth one is the E-Myth technical trap. So this is what Michael Haber talks about is that the business is all technical, and because like you mentioned also earlier, that when founders start a business, they do the work, right? Because businesses are often started based upon the founder's skill. And so founders have this idea that, if I don't contribute my technicality, my knowledge, then the business can't operate. And it is shown that most businesses is 70% technician, or most founders operate in 70% technician, 20% manager, only 10% entrepreneur. Whereas founders, we are supposed to be like 90% or 80% entrepreneur, 20% leadership, and 0 technical. But that time it takes to pivot, that's what we talk about, the 12 to 36 months, time to pivot from that, depending on the business size. And then lastly, obviously, the fear of losing power, because if I hold on to the knowledge, my precious, then I have the power. And it's like, I picture Frodo, back to Lord of the Rings, on, when he went into Mount Doom and he has to throw, and then Sam's like, Frodo, throw it in. And he's like, no, Sam, I think I will keep it. It's like, and it's exactly like, imagine like, it's like that knowledge, it's like, just, hey, get rid of it. Like, give it to someone else, put it on paper, put it in a system. But we are like that, like Gollum or Smeagol, where we hold on to it for so long and we become really miserable. Actually, I think it's a very good illustration how miserable we become. Like you live in your dark corner, in your dark office, and it's like, so I've come for some knowledge, sir. So, okay, what do you want to know?
But don't you say that's how I think it's a very powerful psychological problem, the power things. And I think it's that if you see the way our society is built, it's the society is built in a way that there's a master at the corner there, their house, or the corner of the village, where everyone have to go there to gather there with the old wise man, and then everyone have to go there to get the knowledge that's needed. And then they can't teach it to other people because there will be more people. And then he can only teach it to his own child so that the child can replace him, and then that can continue. And then that's something that's in, if you see even the way Jesus functions, it's the opposite. He come with all the knowledge, I'm giving it to you. You can be like me. You can even do more than me.
He said you'll do more than me.
And then I'm sending you to go outside the world so that everyone can do like you and like me and more than me.
He even said, go and teach
the
nations, all the things that I've told you. That's a very good illustration as well. So, I think as leaders, because founders, we are leaders, we have to let go of the idea that my identity is tied to how useful I am. Like, find something else to be useful in, like become useful in leadership rather. Become a greater leader and stop, keeping all the knowledge for yourself. And that's the earlier you start with the process that we'll explain a little bit later, the frameworks of how to get rid of knowledge dependency, the better, because the longer you wait, the harder it becomes, because there's more, you acquire more knowledge, more experience over time. Like, the people in the business are not going to catch up to you if you don't, like pour out into them, because you started way before them. And so you'll always be ahead as long as you keep on growing, obviously. So if you're not pouring out, then it's going to become a dependency and it will stay one. All right, let's go over to the next one. So
the cost
of knowledge dependency.
It costs you something. Keep all the knowledge in your head.
And that's not that. Now we're talking money, money and time, which time is money. So
a lot
of money.
So the research saying that $47 million. Average large businesses in US, and this is just for the US, they lose 47 millions in average annual productivity. So because people have to look for knowledge or how to do something, or what to
Bottlenecks.
do, or what all these things, people lose $47 million annually just in that. And then we might sometimes think, we know when those things are happening, we don't really see it. Because just a little bit here, a little bit tomorrow, a little bit the next day. Oh, no, I was just waiting for you so that you can tell me where did you put that thing. I was just waiting for you because you can tell me which file
What to
is
tell the
what to
client.
tell the client and all these things. And then and you are losing money because they say time is money. And then how fast you are working or you are able to deliver to one client, and then you can have a possibility to deliver 3 clients in the next one. But if you can just stuck in one client because you have to wait for the next person, or you have to wait for your founder to come, or the CEO to come to tell you what to do, what to tell the client, and it become a problem, and you are losing money. And I'm saying that 1,000 people in a company, they like 2.4 millions are lost in 1,000 people.
Just the 1,000. That's a lot of money, man.
So it's a very big problem. And
I
then
mean, that's not even corporate. That's
just a normal
medium company.
And
that's a lot of money.
and then there's the hours that you lose. So you lose 5.3 hours per week
waiting for information. Imagine. Oh, I'm waiting for you to return my call.
Like
And then
you
the
see,
project
no,
starts
I'm
up.
working very hard, and that's inside that working very hard. You were
It's
waiting
waiting.
for knowledge from somewhere.
I like the next one. It's like 1.8 hours per day searching for information. That's crazy.
And that can be the problem of even the one thing I'm also seeing with this AI. AI is, there's a lot of information. You can get any information you need, but also you can keep looking for information that you don't really need because just there's a lot.
Yeah.
But if there's a process and there's a way that you build proper systems and proper, there's a place where everyone can go. Someone can just go in and get, than to wait for someone, or like leadership here or founders here. It's gonna be the manager, because founder is just, you started the business, but it can also just be the person who's responsible of one department.
We mentioned that last week as well. Yeah.
So it's
These
very important.
Principles go into other, and it's like, according to the study by McKinsey, the one we mentioned now about 1.8 hours, they say if a company hires 5 people, it's like only having 4 of them show up for work, because one person is looking for information. So it's like if every person loses 1.8 hours, and you have 5 people together, you put those 1.8 hours together, that's 10 hours a day, which means that one person, you can just as well throw them away, because that productivity is gone in the amount of time that's being spent looking for information. So knowledge dependency is not about the knowledge, but it's what the knowledge becomes, because it's not good enough for you to just, excuse my graphic example, but to vomit out your knowledge. Because that's just, it's just like there's just knowledge everywhere. It's not systemized. It's not structured. it's not findable, and we'll talk about that later in the case studies. But if knowledge does not become system, does not become information, does not become data, then it's still useless. The thing is that the knowledge we have in our head is data because it's connected to experience. So just that's the problem with AI, right? It's like just an overwhelm of knowledge. But I see people like they use AI, but they don't know what the knowledge what the information means. So they like put out things there, but they don't have a clue what it means. Like, well, that's not helpful. How do you know what you're putting out is even right? Like, you don't know. So knowledge is one thing, but that knowledge has to become useful data and information.
46% of employees spend time each week redoing work because processes were not clearly documented.
And that's a study from just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
46%. Redoing. Yeah, and at that you might find that might even be the same person. Like just, like, oh, how do I do this again? Instead of documenting it from the first time.
I remember when I started to learn how to edit a video. For the first, I think, for the first time, I was just writing down the process. Okay, I have to go here. Bah. I put and then I go this and this and this and this and this and this.
And that was before AI, so it wasn't like you could just
So, and every day after writing all the process and what to do, now I will just, if I have a video, I will just put my note there, and I will just look at the process and do it. Look at the process until that process became a skill. And I was able to give it to someone else.
Imagine you
to
can pass
follow
on,
the same process.
You can pass on skills. That's I like that. That's really cool.
So
wow,
it's a very, very, very important things of trying to, because sometimes we spend a lot of time working, but actually we are not really working. We are just busy trying to find the information or find a new way of doing things, find whatever, and then we spend. And when we also go home tired. Oh, I'm tired. I've been working hard, but we were working hard on what?
On finding
because even just finding the information or the knowledge, it's your brain working. It's like, so
and trying
that
to figure
costs
out,
you the
is it
time.
the right information?
That's a cost.
Is this the latest one? Because there's one from 2010 and there's one from 2022.
Yeah.
You don't know which one to use.
So and then we have the onboarding penalties.
Yeah, this is crazy.
The new hire take up to 6 months to reach full productivity.
6 months.
6 months.
I have a headache already. 6 months.
And then that costs the business
a lot.
3.5 months struggling to learn on their own. So first 6 months plus
another 3.5 struggling.
And that's almost a whole year of doing nothing. Strong onboarding improves retention by 82%. Productivity by 70%. 70%.
Yeah.
But 88% of companies admit they execute onboarding poorly.
Yeah.
And
I can testify to that, man. Like the corporate I worked for was one of the biggest in South Africa, and their onboarding sucked. It was like bad. It's basically like, hey, Christian, here's the new guy. Show him how to do his work. But you still have to do your work. Like it was bad. That, like I said, that was one of the reasons I was like, I need to get out of here, because I have a scorecard to take care of, but I keep on having to train people. Where's the people? Where's the trainers? Where's the process? And then it's like, The funny part is then if a person who's been training people leaves, now you lost all that knowledge.
That's a problem.
Because that's training knowledge. So yeah, I believe, and I think it's not just, I'm not hammering on that company. I'm just saying it's normal for like 88% of companies. That's like, you're thinking big corporates here, you know, it's not like you might feel like, oh, you know, we're a small company, so it's obviously we struggle with this. No, it's like even big companies struggle with this. That's why we're saying that if these type of things, if you don't systemize them early and, you know, like really start early to improve that system so that it can be like improve, it becomes better over time. There's a point where it's going to cost you millions to fix the problem. So it's really important to start early with getting rid of these dependencies.
And then you have to document. Yeah, you have to.
You have to.
I think your onboarding, you have to have a process of where people have to start, like written down. Or there's the guy, I forgot his name. He said that you have to record yourself. Sit and record yourself and where to start for each. If you don't have that knowledge of a specific skill or specific department, you can just get the person who has that knowledge, or the person who knows how to do that work, and record them. And then that's where you get now the thing. So when someone come inside, just give them that video. So you will say you have 1 week to go through this video, make your note, so that you know what to do. And then from there, it's cutting you already a lot of time. Because if you yourself, a founder, you have to sit to start to teach people what to do there, how to do their job. When are you going to do yours?
That's embarrassing. And I mean, I'm talking like we also, you know, we don't have a big company as staff complement, and we're not hiring people often, so we don't have a strong onboarding thing. But it's like, I can imagine if you have to now sit and train a new person, like tomorrow, like next week, somebody new starts.
That's a problem.
That's not good, right? So it's things to think about and really to implement early into the business. I think the valuation stuff, we've spoken about this over and over again. So because of time, we won't go too detailed. You can read the research notes, and we also upload the slides. That will be up from next week. We'll start uploading the slides so that you can have access to that as well. That's available to all Circle Founders members. So please make sure to head over there, and then you can get all the details about like all, you know, everything and more that we're speaking about, because we can't cover. We're already almost out of time. That's like crazy. We've only done half of what we wanted to go through. But the valuation impact, basically, the less dependent your company is on you, the more valuable it is, and the more likely somebody will buy it from you. But then also that, what do you call it? My mind now is tired. When, like we said earlier, when somebody wants to buy the company and there is knowledge dependency, especially, they're not going to let you go until they've drained your brain.
Because what are you selling? You're not selling the brand. Yes, you can sell the brand, how big your brand is, but you're selling processes.
Yeah.
You are selling systems. You are selling onboardings.
Everything.
You are selling everything. So people have to be able to take it.
It's like selling a car. Imagine I build a car and then I want to sell the car, but I'm the only one who knows how to drive the car. Like, what the hell are you going to do with the car? So now I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy you and the car so you can drive the car, because nobody else like that. Imagine if Henry Ford did that. So like, he's the only one who knew how to drive the new car. He invented the engine, you know, he didn't invent the car, but it's that will not make sense. So why do we do that to our businesses, where it becomes, you know, it's like the saying, if your business can't run without you, it can't sell without you. So it's just a matter of fact. It's not even, it's almost like, it doesn't make logically sense that somebody would want to buy a business from you that needs you. Because in buying the business, they are getting rid of you. And now it's like, there goes the business with you. So, and then what stops you from just going and starting a new one? Because you are the business technically. Okay, so just very quickly, some case studies. The first one, we spoke about Uber last week as well for Kalanick. Not a very good reputation, but the same thing happened here. So the studies show that when he left the company, it was like, like multiple executives left because he had all the knowledge in his own mind. And then the fallout after his forced resignation, which is being fired, it's a nice way to say you're being fired. They just, try to keep, he resigned. No, it's like, that's the samurai way of going out, like, I'm resigned, but no, you were fired. So they say that the fallout after that, there was such a big mess because he had all the knowledge that 20 other executives also left because of the mess. That's the danger. And this is not a small company. This is a global company. So imagine if that's like, I think they barely survived this. And that's just because of one guy, one dude. It's a knowledge dependency. And then on the other hand, we have, the classic McDonald's, Ray Kroc with, building what we call also the franchise prototype, is that you should build your business like a franchise. Like this is the prototype, and then other people should be able to copy paste. And that's exactly what McDonald's did very well. Like they were extremely innovative in this area where they went from, a normal diner to fast food, but not just fast food, copy paste fast food, where they can open a McDonald's in weeks.
That is scaling, like you can scale a business.
That's even the guy from what is the founder's name? He's still the founder. He's like the only founder of this company, a multi-billion-dollar company. They do these chicken fingers, like just deep fried chicken fingers stuff. Like one guy, and he has like hundreds of chain stores across America, multi-billion-dollar company, no outside investors, just him. Like that is like the epiphany of independent business, right? That this one guy can run an empire. It's like it doesn't need an army of people. He has no board for approvals. It's like it's just him and the staff.
Oh no, we want to open a new store. Just take these things and
man. If you go on to the Founders podcast, he even did an interview with him. David did an interview with this guy. I forget his name now, but it's a very good story for that. So the franchise prototype is really important. It's important that you build your business in such a way that somebody else can take what you've done and reproduce it somewhere else. There are some few logistical changes, but that will be part of the SOP, right? Yeah. Like, okay, this is how you do it, but you have to check because it might be different in that country, but this is the process to check. And so everything, you literally just copy, paste it there, and it runs. There will be like a little bit of, it's just settling, but for the most, it doesn't. You don't need to go there to open the store.
The goal is if people can run it 80% without you, that's already fine.
Yeah, let them run it.
Yeah,
let them run it. So yeah, so definitely. I'm going to skip over this slide so that we can talk about the resolution quickly because we need to close up. So the resolution. So let's look at the 6 frameworks. We're just going to cover this top level. And then, like we said, all the notes will be uploaded for all the members so that you can go and have a look at that. So let's go into this quickly.
So the first one, I'll do the first one. The first one is the knowledge audit. You have to list every critical processes you perform. Everything you do, how you do it. The example I gave, it was that when I was learning, it was just in the beginning of our business. Sure. So, yeah. So I wanted to learn how to edit a video. What I did, I wrote down everything that I wanted to learn and then how to do it. And that's just, it was not only about editing videos, but about everything that I was supposed to do. Because I started the business at the point where so many things I didn't know how to do them, but I had to write down. So you, from where you are, you've been running this business. It's a multi-million-dollar or rent business. You have to be able to first to list whatever that you know about the business. Take your time. I would say take time, think about it.
Yeah, as soon as it comes to you, like I think the easiest way is just to have something like Notion. And then what you can do is just open the transcriber on Notion, the note, and then just talk whenever you think about it. It's like, okay, you know, I'm thinking about this process. I'm thinking about I do this. I'm doing this right now. It's basically what we call a brain dump.
Yeah.
So you want to take everything that's in your coconut and you want to dump it out there. You want to put it out. You have to separate yourself from the knowledge. So just record yourself, let it on something that can transcribe you. By the way, we have some really, really nice discounts for our members for Notion. So 6 months for free for the business thing.
Wow,
so just plugging it in there unintentionally. It's not scripted, I promise. I'm just thinking about that because that's a lot of value that you get off from that. So we are Notion fanatics.
Yeah.
So like we love Notion. So I have to say that. But it's just like separating yourself from the knowledge. Get the knowledge away from yourself because as long as it's here, nothing can be done with it. Which then leads us to framework 2, which is now you create a system, which is SOP, standard operating procedure. So when you have the knowledge that's out there, now you're able to structure the knowledge so that it becomes a system. Because sometimes even when you are knowledge, brain dumping the things, it's not organized because you're like, oh, by the way, you must remember this thing, but that's you on step 100. Now you're talking about step 5. Before you start, actually, you should have done this because it's again that curse of knowledge because you forget what it feels like not to know. So you skip over some things because you just do it with even your intuition. You just do them instinctively is the word. And then you remember later, oh, they might not know. So that's why it's important first to get it out. Then now you systemize it. You start to structure it. Step 1, step 2, step 3. So then you have something. And an important point is, we mentioned this already, but you must not do your own SOPs.
Yep.
Because you're going to skip over steps. So either you use an AI, that would be great, and then tell it to ask you more questions, or a person. Okay, sit here. I'm going to be working. You listen to the thing I wrote down, all the stuff, organize it, and then ask me more questions. If you feel like there's a gap, it's the less the person knows, the better. Because you want to write it in such a way that anybody can pick it up, even if the person knows nothing about that specific thing. So how to write a CV, like they've never written a CV in their life. They should be able to write a CV by the end of the steps.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the where we want to get to.
And number 3, framework 3 is the document the why, not just the how.
Yeah.
Why it's more important because why it's the understanding. Because people have to understand why they're doing how or why they're doing how. And then that's going to facilitate them so that can become effortless for them and easy. We want to simplify things.
And also help them to make decisions because even if you have an SOP, things are not always going to go according to plan. But if you understand the why behind it, you can make a decision because the outcome, the reasoning stays the same. So, okay, I need to do this because it's important. Let's talk about the video editing. Okay, when you edit the video, it's really important that you clean up the audio and, like even if it sounds good, go and fix it. Oh, okay. But if I don't tell you why, when you feel like it's too much work, you're just going to skip over it. So, but if you know why, because when people listen to it with headphones, they're going to hear the impurities in the audio and it's going to reduce the experience and they might not continue listening. Oh, okay. Now, if I can't do the steps, I'm going to figure out another way to get the result because I know why the result is important. Yeah.
So document the why,
Excuse me.
not just the how.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, the two. You're going to go with that one?
The too deep, the too deep principle. Yeah. So it's the military maxim for 2 is 1, 1 is none. At least 2 people must be able to perform every critical function. So this is, like we said, the bus ratio. Was it the ratio? What is it called?
Bus
factor. The bus factor. If your bus factor is not more than 2 or more, then you need to train another person or you need to equip another person to do it. Even if it's not their main job, right? Because if one person, like in the military, if one person dies, unfortunately, somebody else needs to be able to do it. There needs to be immediately, because one person is as good as no person at all, because the chances are somebody's going to get hurt.
Because in the army, there is the one who the H guns or whatever weapon, there's a specific person who use that.
Yes.
But imagine that that rocket, it helps us to take out let's say a tank. And then now the person who used that rocket gets hurt or dies. And then there's no one who knows how to use
have
it.
the wrong way around.
So it's going to become a problem, and they will take you out.
Yes, that is true, and it's like it's very important, and I think that's the person doesn't have to do that every day. So if you get a second person, it doesn't mean that's their job, but there has to be a backup person that knows exactly, either knows what's going on or has this process or has gone through the process with you at least once, so that in case of an emergency, a person falls sick, something needs to be done for a client, that somebody can pick up the SOP and go like, oh, okay, I'm responsible now. This person is not here. He did show me how this works. I can follow the SOP and I can get at least the work done. It might not be on the same level, but the work is going to get done. So that's very important.
And then number 5 is central knowledge repository. All documentation must live in one searchable, maintain location. Notion, Google Drive, Influence, and School. Like,
I wouldn't recommend School, but that's what the research says.
So just make your own choice.
Notion is great because Notion, you can, even if you can't find something on like just looking or the search, you can ask the AI to search for it, and it's actually quite smart. So it does find things. I've like, there's been things, because sometimes you mislabel things.
Our face documentation, our face. If we go on our Notion, we can go to the first day of like when we started.
Yeah, and
all those things are there.
Exactly, and it's still there after it's almost 6 years now. So it's very important, and it's that searchable word is very important, because there's no point in having a repository of 1,000 documents, but you can't find anything. And that's like the problem with the story of NASA, where they had taken all these years to gather all this information, huge database with all the information, but they don't have any, it's not organized and they can't search. So nobody can find the stuff. It's like, have you ever walked into a library, like a big library, right? And you're like,
the Vatican.
The Vatican one, exactly. Something like that. And you're like, there's so much knowledge here, but you can't extract the value because you don't know where to look for what. You don't know which ones are really valuable, which ones are useful, because like books are great, but books are only as useful as their immediate application. Like if I can't learn something that I can apply, then it's just a story.
Yeah.
And then I can just read fiction. So, and then after that is the After action review, this is important. So get the feedback from people. How did the process work? What should we improve? Because we know that there's a difference between the theory or even the theology of the thing, or and the practicality of the thing. It's one thing to know something or to have the steps, but it's quite another thing to have the experience knowing how to apply the steps. Because sometimes it's like, okay, this thing says step 1, do this, step 2, do this. But from experience, I know before you do step 2, wait 5 minutes, right? And it's like, that's something only experience can teach you. So get people to give you feedback. Okay, we wrote this SOP. Does it actually work? Did we miss something? Or maybe the software updated and now the SOP doesn't work anymore.
That's the wisdom.
Yes.
Because there's knowledge. What you are writing down, putting in a structural knowledge, the repository, documentation, whatever, that's the knowledge. But the wisdom of it will come when you are working on it.
Yeah.
And then when you are working on something, you will remove. There will be a time that you'll be seeing, okay, this is not working. Yeah. Let's remove it. Let's change.
Let's update.
Let things that update. Let things, even software, everything.
You should actually, this is not even in the slides or anywhere, but best practice is that you should have a person that is responsible for the SOP and they need to keep it updated at least once a month to check it.
Yeah.
That's very important also because, again, knowledge that is not applicable anymore is useless.
Yeah.
And so if again, from the corporate days, there are so many things that I remember, like you pull things from 1990 something on how to do, but it's like the system doesn't even exist anymore. And they're like, I don't know what to do now. It's like, at some point I offered to rewrite some of the stuff for them and whatever, but it's like if you don't, and it's not like a yearly thing because at the pace things are changing. You can't wait a whole year to update your SOP. So as long as somebody is responsible for it and you go like, okay, you have to check every month that this SOP is updated. If you found a better way to do it, update it and then give the responsibility to somebody so that there's an owner of that SOP and then they are the ones that have to make sure these things are updated and that the best practices are the latest practices as well. So very good. So we're not going to go through this, how the best do it. This is just stories from Toyota, NASA, and the military. I think we've covered a lot of these things. I'll just put the bottom line here is that collecting knowledge is only half of the battle. It's making it findable and usable that actually changes your business. So there's no use in just recording yourself and I recorded, just listen to. I'm not going to listen to your voice every time I want to do something. Make it easy for me to use.
I think that's what been it's been a problem. I think even like just myself, it's like you write things down. Because I remember there was certain things that I would go. I'm the type I write things down.
Yeah.
I have a lot of books, notebooks and whatever when I write this down. But some stuff like you go back there and you don't even understand it yourself. What about the other person?
What is this about? It's like, have you ever found yourself like you read a book and then you underline things in the book? But you know very well you're never going to open this book again. So why am I underlining this stuff? That's why I think we live in an age of technology, and I'm really a big fan of creating usable databases. So the best thing that you can do is to create a database of SOPs, but a smart database. So not a static database. Static means that you throw all the folders in there and it's like, how do I do this? Now go look in the folder, look for the SOPs there and then read it. But the person, maybe they already did the first 10 steps. They just need like small things. So if you make it smart, then I'm able to go, even with voice, these days I don't even type anymore. It's just like, hey, I'm busy doing this. I've done this already. What am I supposed to do next? I can't remember. I'm stuck. And then all I need for this system is to give me the feedback and to say, Okay, great. So you've covered this and this. Yes. Okay. The next thing is you need to go there. Oh, okay. Now I don't want to read the whole thing every time. If I already know most, that's a waste of time again. So we want information that's accessible on demand.
Yes.
Why? Because we're removing the bottleneck. And if we take the knowledge from the founder's brain and now we put it into a digital brain that I still need to go search and wait for and look for things and then read through everything again, it's like you come to me and you say, hey, how do we set up this mixer again? And then you're like, and I've already done everything. I just need, so step one. It's like, no, I don't want to know step one already. I'm probably on the last. How do I record? Just record. Step two. It's like plug in mixer. It's like, that's a manual. We don't need manuals. We need smart systems that reduce the time that it takes to find information that's applicable in the moment. If a client is calling me, hey, can I have a discount? I don't have time to sift through 20 different pricing SOPs, trying to find the most relevant one, reading through them. All I want to do is like, hey, client asking for discount. They're currently paying this much. This is the package they're on. What is the process? Cool. How long has the client been there? What other products do they have? Okay, cool. Yes, you can give up to 20% discount. Like, that's it. That's it. It's like you want to multiply this, not like lock the information into a digital box and then it dies with the technology anyway. So we just take one problem, transfer it into another problem. That's not the point of this. Okay, so we are about done. The 80% rule we've covered in the last one. Yeah, so you guys can go read up on this, so. And then actually for this masterclass, talking about this is also something that we're going to do, is that we're going to, so there's a masterclass library that we've created, and every masterclass for On-Circle founders, for the members, you can access the library. And then there is the video, the summary, the audio, an AI deep dive, the research document, and then also the slides, which we're adding next week. There's an infograph, and then we're also going to add a searchability function so that on the main library, you can search for anything and it will find it inside all of the masterclasses and give you the references. So practice what we preach, and that's something that we're busy adding so that it's easy for you to go and reference, oh, what was that? Steps on how to deal with founder knowledge dependency, So, all right. So I think we've said so much. We've said already about Circle of Founders. Just also to say that there is the 90-day founder shift that is also on the Circle of Founders site even for standard members. And that's really a step-by-step process, a weekly guide that helps you to get rid of founder dependency. But the nice thing about this 90-day program is it's not just about dependency. It helps you in every area of your founderhood. Is that a new word, right? Yeah. Your founderhood, like fatherhood, founderhood. Well, maybe we should write that somewhere. The founderhood, the brotherhood of founderhood. I think it's too late. I need to keep quiet. So if you, so this 90-day journey takes you through time, belonging, status, and wholeness. Every part that a founder needs to be fully flourishing as a founder and to build businesses that do not depend on them. So please go check it out. You're welcome to reach out to us if you want more information. You can email us at, what is that email address? I'm embarrassed by not knowing our own email address. The business is so independent that I don't even know the email addresses. It's info@circle-of-founders.com. Yeah. So if you go to the website, same address, then you can actually also just contact us directly there. So the team is always ready to take your requests and to answer any questions. And if you want to become a founding member, which is maybe something we'll do a video about soon, then go check out the website as well. All right. I think that's it.
Yes.
Now we've taken the knowledge and we've exited. My brain is empty. I want to go sleep now. All right. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Until the next one next week. And God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.